G'day, welcome to Giltrap Kia and welcome to the new Kia Sorento. It's said to be coming up and put its lights out. You know, Kia actually said this is the most technologically advanced car they've ever made. I believe them already. More on that in a moment. This is the fourth generation of the Sorento, a car that started out almost 2 decades ago with an old school ladder frame chassis. It has evolved and evolved completely. We'll look at some of the tech in a moment, like I said, but let's start with style. I feel a bit like David Attenborough here, but there's the latest version of Kia's tiger-nosed grille, and it doesn't stop there because the lights are also called Tiger Eye design, and it gets better. I'm not going to put in some Attenborough accent, but if you come round the side here, this is officially called the shark fin. And there's quite an aggression to this. And of course, it's a go anywhere vehicle, but it's also an SUV. So I won't say it's sort of Bear Grylls, more teddy bear. But let's look, speaking of bears, what makes it growl? Right, I say growl, it's actually quite refined. New aluminium block, the Smart Stream 2.2 litre diesel, 148 kilowatts, that's up, and 440 Newton meters. The alloy also helps another thing, weight. There's almost 20 kilos less over the front axles thanks to that engine, and it drives through a new 8-speed dual clutch transmission. Really refined and more efficient too, 15% improvement over a conventional 8-speed auto. We'll talk more about the drivetrain in a moment, but I want to talk about the body. I've talked about the style, but more use of high tensile steel, and as a result this car is a lot stronger than the Sorento's ever been, torsional rigidity and all that sort of thing. And it's also lighter than the last model. For all the added strength, and it's a bigger car, 235 millimeters longer, it's 54 kilos lighter. That helps efficiency and helps the way it drives as well. Yes, super cool alloys on this too, 20 inches. That's on the premium model. Now, by the way, $76,990 plus on-road cost, the price for this, the Sorento with everything, but prices start actually at $59,990. Heaps of goodies. I want to share this tailgate actually. By the way, you notice the new vertical tail light setup, which is just fantastic. This tailgate, by the way, can be set to open to different levels in case you've got low rafters or something. You look inside here, there is rear air conditioning. There's 7 USB, so 1 for each seat. And what's really cool, if you fold the seats all down, over 2,000 litres of storage, but if you have all 3 rows up, there's all sorts of button releases as well for these nice and easy remote systems. Still got 187 litres of storage, which is not always the case in a 7-seater. And that's 35% up on the last model. Everything's up. And there's some really cool tech as well. I can't wait to show you this savior for when you've got kids in the back row. Come and check this out. Now, you can probably hear now I'm sitting in the front of the car, put my microphone in the back, and you can still hear it. So no more yelling to the kids in the back or having them pretend they can't hear you. You just push the button here. On. Kids, be quiet in the back, else we're not going to stop with that ice cream. Brilliance. Something else really cool too, when you sit in this driver's seat, you can actually move the passenger seat backwards and forwards. None of that reaching over to try and get it right if someone's left it in the wrong place. But more on that when we take it for a drive. Right, let's look inside here. Now, I mentioned the added length. It's all in the wheelbase, extra room, and there's so many little touches. Like if you push this button here, that seat comes forward to let passengers get in the back. They've managed to put another 4.5 centimetres of movement in that seat, so it's more graceful getting in the back. Speaking of the back too, a 2.5 ton tow rating as well. The usefulness continues. Speaking of usefulness, it doesn't just look nice, it can go lots of places, and there's a special sort of terrain setting on the transmission for mud, snow and sand, which basically makes sure you can get where you need to go and do it nice and safely. Well, of course, every model across the Sorento range has all that space and the towing ability, but the premium, it has some great goodies, including this. Rightio, that's an auto start, but now it gets really, really cool. Because say you're in a car park and it's really tight, you can't open your doors, just push this button here. There is no driver in the car, and it will stop before it hits someone. I'll go back again. Oops, I let go of the button. Okay, I'll go back again. Here we go. And you want to go back again? Hold the button. And there it goes. And it stopped itself. I kept the button there. It stopped itself before it hit the wall. Just love it. And engine off. Brilliant. Let's check out inside. Even when you just get into this car, it has a wee tune to say hello. The technology is insane. 12 speaker Bose audio. There's mood lighting. This awesome blue, the new graphics for the car. And what really impresses is the quality of surfaces, all soft touch. I mentioned the beautiful Napa leather before. Front seats are heated and cooled. The second row seats are heated. Everywhere you look, there is something happening. In fact, I just noticed the sound of waves crashing. I wonder what was going on. I know we're on the North Shore, but we're not that close to Takapuna Beach. But I think that's about setting up the audio. This is an absolute tech fest. I think we've got to take this car for a drive. Before I leave, I just spotted something brilliantly cool. We know about blind spots, and this car has all sorts of things to stop you backing in and driving over all sorts of things. But if you indicate, the speedo or tack is replaced by the blind spot on either side. That is just amazing. Now, technically,
narrow road ahead.
Oh, okay, thank you. Technically, I could have just done a walk around, but I really did want to drive this car. Kia have made so much
narrow
effort.
Road ahead.
Yeah, I heard you the first time. This car looks after you in every way. In fact, there's so much security. You must feel insecure that you're not, well, a good enough driver, because this car is actually rated for autonomous level 2. It will drive itself on the motorway, keep its speed, the distance the car in front. And I looked at the manual. It will do it up to 180 kilometres an hour. We neither condone nor will we try that today. But the safety measures are incredible. It will spot cyclists, pedestrians, obviously other motor vehicles, and it will stop on its own and avoid impact. It's got blind spot warnings. We showed you the dashboard before, but forward and back. When you back onto a road, and this is one I love, the mitigation, it will spot if a car's coming in that spot you can't see, whether it's a supermarket car park. That's if you don't let it back out itself. There is so much going on to look after you in this car. And then there's this new extra strong chassis doing its thing. The ride comfort is remarkable. That diesel engine is smooth. You can hear it now. For the record, we're doing 80 k's an hour on the motorway. That is the noise, nothing to hide. I was about to say the car's almost perfect. There is some wind noise, but I realise it's actually coming from the camera I've got above me on the roof. Aside from that, the car really is silent. That diesel engine is a lot smoother. It's doing everything it said it would. I shouldn't be surprised. Kia tend to keep their word, don't they? As well as the safety tech, there's all the other clever stuff as well. And I showed you earlier the speakers that go in the back row. But this car can actually connect two separate mobile phones up. One to play the music, one to make phone calls. There's really nothing they've left out. About the only thing we can't really showcase right now is the mood lighting, because it's daylight. But just take my word for it, you pick your colour and this car can be lit up inside to suit whatever taste you've got.
Please check speed limit ahead.
Did you hear that? Yeah, I'm coming up to the Auckland Harbour Bridge. The speed limit's dropped to 80 k's an hour, and she's told me. Whoops. You get too close to the white line and the beep goes off. It actually steers itself back into the lane. I would actually hazard to guess it'll be hard to get in trouble in the Sorento. It will do what it can to keep you from hitting things or going in the wrong way or backing into something. You know, Kia have said this is the most technologically advanced car they've made, and that's without question, but I think it's more than that. I'm sorry, Stinger, but I actually reckon the Sorento is the best looking Kia ever made.